It's 2 a.m. Your house is completely quiet. The street outside is empty. Everyone is asleep. And then, a sound. Low, deep, hollow. Like it's coming from somewhere just beyond the edge of where the light reaches. Who? You tell yourself it's just an owl. You pull the blanket up. You go back to sleep. But here's what you don't know. That owl has been outside your house every single night for the past 3 weeks. It knows which room you sleep in. It knows when your bedroom light goes off. It knows the exact time your house goes completely dark. And it has noted with quiet precision every entrance and exit on your property. It chose your house, deliberately, specifically. Out of every building on your street, it chose yours. And tonight, like every night before it, it is watching. This is not a horror story. This is something stranger than horror. This is the truth about what happens outside your home when the world goes dark, told through one of the most intelligent, mysterious, and deeply misunderstood creatures that shares your world. Stay with me, because by the time this is over, you will never hear that sound the same way again. Before we get into what the owl outside your window actually knows, you need to understand what it is, because nothing about an owl is ordinary. Start with the eyes. An owl's eyes are not like yours. They cannot move at all. They are fixed, locked into the skull like 2 telescopes permanently aimed forward. This sounds like a limitation. It is the opposite, because those fixed, forward-facing eyes are enormous. Proportionally, if a human had eyes the same size relative to our head, they would be the size of grapefruit. Those eyes gather light at a level that is almost impossible to describe. A great horned owl can see in conditions so dark that even the best military night vision equipment struggles to match it. That mouse moving through the grass at the edge of your yard at midnight, the owl sees it as clearly as you see this screen right now. Your face, looking out your bedroom window, wondering what that sound was, crystal clear, but the eyes are only half of it. The ears are where it becomes truly unsettling. An owl's ears are asymmetrical, positioned at slightly different heights on the skull, one slightly higher on the left, one lower on the right. This asymmetry means that sound reaches each ear at fractionally different times, and the owl's brain processes that tiny time difference into a precise 3-dimensional location. The result? An owl can pinpoint a mouse moving under 6 inches of snow, hearing only the vibration of its footsteps through the ground, and strike with near perfect accuracy, in complete darkness, without seeing it at all. And then there's the flight. Every other bird creates sound when it flies. Air pushing against feathers creates turbulence, and turbulence creates noise. You can hear most birds coming. Owls have evolved a solution so elegant that aerospace engineers have studied it for decades. The leading edge of their flight feathers is serrated, like a comb. The trailing edge is soft and fringed. The surface of every feather is covered in a velvet-like texture that absorbs the sound of air moving across it. The result is a creature the size of a small dog, flying at 40 miles per hour, producing, essentially, no sound at all. It doesn't announce itself, it doesn't disturb the air, it simply appears. Right now, somewhere near you, this thing exists, and it has been moving through your neighborhood, night after night, in perfect silence. A great horned owl's territory can cover up to 5 square miles, but it doesn't wander that territory randomly. When researchers began GPS tagging urban owls and tracking their movements through the night, what they found was extraordinary. The same owl visited the same 12 to 15 locations every single night in almost exactly the same order, like a security guard doing rounds, like a patrol. Each stop on that route was chosen with a precision that took researchers months to fully understand. High perches with wide sightlines, trees positioned near open ground, rooftops that offered simultaneous views of multiple approach paths. Every location was optimal, not randomly stumbled upon, but selected, tested, and added to a mental map that the owl refined over months of observation. And then there were the light sources, your porch light, the glow from your kitchen window at midnight, the lamp post on your corner. Every light source in an owl's territory is a known feeding station. Light attracts insects. Insects attract mice and voles. Mice and voles attract the owl. The owl has mapped every light source on your street. When they turn on, when they turn off, which ones stay on all night, which ones flicker on when motion is detected. It has mapped the rhythm of your neighborhood the way a chess player maps a board. Every piece accounted for, every pattern noted. Every predictable movement factored into its nightly strategy. And your house, if it appears on that route, is not there by accident. Your house offered something. A tall tree close to the wall, a roof gap that creates a sheltered perch, a garden that stays dark and quiet, a light that runs all night. Something about your specific house made it worth stopping at. The owl found it, tested it, returned, and eventually your roofline became a fixed point in the mental geography of a creature that has been navigating this darkness for years. In the autumn of 2019, a family living in a farmhouse in rural Vermont began noticing things, not dramatic things, not the kind of things you'd call someone about, small things. A scratching sound on the roof around 1 a.m., a shadow that passed across the bedroom window, large, silent, gone before they could focus on it. A low, resonant sound near the chimney that one of the children described as like something breathing. The father checked the house. Nothing. He checked the attic. Nothing. He walked the property with a flashlight twice and found no explanation. The sounds continued. Every night. Between 1 a.m. and 3 a.m. almost precisely. The mother began keeping a journal. Night 1, scratching near the east chimney. Low hooting, 3 notes. Night 4, large shadow, crossing the upstairs window. Too big for a cat, too silent for a raccoon. Night 7, something on the bathroom windowsill. She saw it clearly for the first time. An enormous shape, hunched, turning its head in that wrong, too far direction that makes every human instinct recoil. She wrote in her journal that night, "It knows the layout of this house." By night 11, the children were refusing to sleep. The family had searched online, talked to neighbors, and come up empty. 2 neighbors thought it might be a ghost. One suggested a large drone. Someone from their church group said it was a bad omen. Their daughter, 9 years old, came downstairs one morning and said, very calmly, "Whatever it is, it's not trying to scare us. It's just looking." They called a wildlife researcher from the University of Vermont. He arrived with motion-sensitive cameras, set them up across the property, and waited. On the second night, the cameras captured it, a great horned owl, wingspan just under 5 feet. It arrived at 1:17 a.m., landed on the roofline above the master bedroom, and sat completely motionless for 42 minutes, head rotating, eyes scanning, not hunting, not calling, just watching. But that wasn't the extraordinary part. The researcher asked the family if he could look through their old videos and photos. Anything taken outside the house over the past few years. What he found made the mother sit down and go quiet for a long time. Christmas, 2 years ago, in the tree behind the family photo, a large shape on the highest branch, unmistakable once you knew what to look for. A summer barbecue video, someone panning the camera across the yard. For 3 seconds, a silhouette on the fence post. Still, watching. A birthday video, the daughter's 7th. Background, upper left corner, the roofline, 2 small glowing points that caught the light for a moment and disappeared. The owl had been there for over 3 years. It had been present for birthday parties, Christmas mornings, summer evenings, and ordinary Tuesdays. Silent, invisible to a family who didn't know to look for it. This was not a new visitor investigating an interesting house. This house was a landmark in its world, a fixed, permanent point in a territory it had patrolled for years. The family hadn't discovered the owl. The owl had always known about the family. So why your house? Why not the neighbors? The answer, it turns out, is a combination of very specific factors, and understanding them will make you look at your property with completely different eyes. Mature trees close to the structure. This is the single most important factor. An owl needs a launch point, a high perch within gliding distance of open hunting ground. A large tree within 15 to 20 feet of your roofline is prime real estate. The owl can survey, drop silently, and return to safety in seconds. Consistent, artificial light. As we've discussed, light means insects, insects mean prey. A porch light that runs all night is a hunting aid the owl has factored into its nightly strategy. It isn't afraid of light, it has learned to use it. Quiet, predictable human activity. Owls choose locations where human behavior is regular and non-threatening. A house where the lights go off at the same time every night, where there are no sudden loud noises, where dogs don't patrol the yard at 2 a.m., that house is safe. That house is usable. Structural features that create shelter. A chimney stack, a gabled roofline with an overhang, dense ivy on a wall, a gap between a drain pipe and the brickwork. What looks like imperfection or neglect to a human looks like architecture to an owl. If your house has 2 or more of these features, there is likely an owl that knows your property. You may not have heard it, you may not have seen it, but in a 5-mile radius, there is a creature whose mental map includes your address. And here is something the Vermont researcher said that I keep coming back to. He said, "The owl doesn't choose randomly, and it doesn't choose easily. Building a territory takes months. Each location on its route is earned, observed, tested, visited repeatedly before being confirmed as a permanent stop. When an owl chooses your property," he said, "it's because your property passed an assessment that most of your neighbors' properties failed. Your house was evaluated, and it met the standard. After the researcher told the Vermont family what had been happening, something shifted. The fear didn't disappear overnight, but it changed into something the mother struggled to name at first. She started paying attention differently. She began leaving the porch light on deliberately, not from habit, but with intention. She noticed when the hooting stopped earlier than usual, which meant the owl had found food quickly. She found herself on sleepless nights listening for it and feeling something close to relief when she heard it. She said in a recorded interview, "I used to lock the door at night and lie there feeling very alone in the dark, just the house and the silence and whatever was outside that I couldn't see. Now I lock the door and I think, he's out there. He's been out there for years, long before any of us knew about him. And somehow that makes the dark feel different, like something is keeping watch." There is something ancient in that feeling. For most of human history, people lived in close relationship with the wild things around them. Not as pets, not as curiosities, but as neighbors, present, real, and meaningful. Their movements told you about the weather. Their silence told you something was wrong. Their presence told you the world was in order. We have built our cities and our walls and our window glass, and we have largely cut ourselves off from that. We have made the night something to be sealed out rather than listened to. But the owl doesn't know about our walls. It doesn't recognize our boundaries. It has simply continued night after night, doing what its kind have done for 60 million years, watching, listening, mapping the world with those extraordinary eyes. And somewhere in that ancient patience, in that quiet, faithful presence in the dark, there is something that speaks to a part of us we have almost forgotten. Something out there knows where you live, has known for longer than you realize. And every night, without fail, it comes back. Tonight, when your house goes quiet, when the last light turns off and the street settles into darkness, something outside will notice. It will shift on its branch, rotate its head in that slow, impossible arc. Fix those ancient, enormous eyes on your roofline, and it will begin its watch. It has been doing this for longer than you know. The only difference between last night and tonight is that now you know too. If this kept you up tonight, good. Share it with someone who won't be able to look at their backyard the same way again. And subscribe, because next time we go somewhere even more unexpected. A bird that visits your yard every single morning has been building a detailed profile of your life, and what it knows about you will genuinely surprise you.